to my charts and try and find some trade ideas for you. Okay, we're going to start. Firstly, it's summer, and although there's quite a lot going on in the economy with unemployment numbers and CPI numbers, and of course Federal Reserve raising rates, well, most of the central banks around the world raising rates, there's still a lot of sideways action. Now, if you're a scalper and you like trading sideways markets, I'm going to give you some ideas. Look at this. The pound versus the New Zealand dollar has been trading sideways for at least 3 months. So it's very easy to find some trading parameters. We've got the upper trend line here around 195.65, lower parameter around 190.65. So there we go. We've got about a 500 pip range. Now, we're not always touching one end and then dropping to the other end. So if you were to, for example, sell up at the upper end, you probably want to be taking some profit in the middle. That would be good enough, wouldn't it? No one's going to say no to 200 pips. And then if we do get down to the bottom end of the range, you can try buying into a long position and seeing if you can take another 200 pips. You know, you've got to learn to trade these sideways markets. I don't like them. And quite frankly, well, I look for direction, I look for breakouts, I look for trends, and we're just not seeing a lot of them. Look at this New Zealand dollar CAD. Now, we are in a longer term bear trend. There we go. Look, when I scrunch it up, we are in a longer term bear trend, or at least we have been since 2021. So, and to me, when you look at it like this, you know, it looks like this is a bear flag. So it just looks like we are seeing a gentle recovery in the bear trend, and eventually we will break low. So that's the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Get that on your chart, get that chart on your screen, put your flag trend lines like that. It's very clearly, you know, this does look like a flag, doesn't it? So a break to the downside would basically be a break below 80.30, 80, let's say 80.20. And that should send us probably hurtling towards 79.10, 79.00. A retest of the July low would be the most likely scenario in that case for the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Of course, we break up above the upper trend line, which is 81.70, 81.80. That could be more bullish, but this to me looks like your classic bear flag, because we're in a bear trend, bear flag pattern. We'll see if that works out. Pound versus the yen, very much in a sideways trend, as you can see. Actually, I've just drawn that trend line there, but really the trend line goes back to March, joining the low in May. And you can see it is catching the downside there, but we're definitely developing, well, we're already in a sideways trend, aren't we? I'm guessing that will start to narrow. So I would also put a trend on here, trend line on here. There you go. Then you get your parameters of maybe where the scalping levels are. So 165, I'm going to call it 165.60, 165.90. We've got some support down at 161. Let's call that 80.50. You know, and then if you can get get a trade on there, short at the resistance or along at the support, and then if you can get out in the middle of the range, which I guess is around the 163.5 area, then you're looking at some decent profit in that. But you know, you've unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of this at the moment, a lot of sideways action. CAD again, look at that, you know, very much sideways. For me, it's really only the trend lines that work here. I mean, this could be a little bear flag, but it's not big enough for me to get excited about it. Euro versus the New Zealand dollar, this is very much a sideways trend. You know what? I'm not even going to bother with that one. I just wanted to go through some other pairs that I don't normally do analysis on every day. Again, look, this is a pound versus the Swiss, very much sideways. Well, the pound. So here, it's all a case of trend lines again. What have we got? What kind of pattern can we identify? Maybe I could call this a descending triangle. It's really more of a wedge, isn't it? But we can still trade these parameters. We're clearly trading within these trend lines. I could probably put another trend line on here, actually. Maybe there's a case for that one. And that actually coincides quite nicely there. Look, they're intersecting. So again, resistance around 116.85, 117.05, break above, let's say 117.20 could be a buy signal. But we are in a bear trend, so I would favour a break to the downside eventually. But we do have support in the low 115 area. So get used to scalping. It's summer markets, and we are trading mostly sideways. Look, there's another one. Pound versus the Aussie, very much in a sideways pattern. Great if you're a scalper. You could just leave your orders in, see where you get hit, see if it travels up to the resistance. You don't have to watch it, and then see if you can take a couple hundred pips out while risking 30 pips. Anyway,